Joy Lab.
Hi, I'm Tonya. Today I'm going to show you how to make 2 different freezer meals and an appetizer with celery. Now this came from my garden, and you know me, and I am a lazy gardener. I will sprinkle the seeds, put the water on automatic timer, and then just kind of maybe look for weeds now and then. And I really should have harvested this sooner. You can see some of the leaves have gotten brown and they're not as bright green as they should be, but it still is celery and it smells really good. I don't know why my celery is small as opposed to the grocery store celery that has that nice boat where you can put peanut butter. I let it grow plenty of time. I gave it the right amount of water, I think. So I have all this celery, and what can I do with it? I will show you. On this side, we're going to make baked rice with sausage. So you take some ground sausage, a cup of rice, some cream of chicken soup, chicken noodle soup mix, and then celery and onions and bell peppers. And on this side, we're going to make brisket for a bunch. I don't have the beef brisket right now. I'm going to wait until I get a good sale to buy the beef brisket, but I can make the sauce that we would simmer the brisket in and have that frozen and ready to go as soon as there's a good sale. That takes vinegar, onion soup mix, beef broth, some tomato sauce, onions, and celery. And then the third thing I'll show you is the appetizer. I'll show you that later. Now you can see that the celery is this consistent, and we need onions for both of them, but only the bell peppers are here. So I can go ahead and dice up my quantities of celery and onion, cook them together, and then when I make my recipes, just divide them up as needed. I don't need to keep them all separate. The only thing I need to separate is my bell peppers, and I'll saute those on their own. I'll do that now, and I'll be back. Well, let me tell you, things smell really good in my house right now. And if you were here too with me, you would agree. I have the sausage all nicely browned. I have my bell pepper. And of course, onions always smell good. And the celery really has a nice, fresh and clean smell. Very good all around. Now our mixture of celery and onions, we could be fussy about how much goes in the brisket for a brunch and how much goes in the baked rice with sausage, but we don't have time to be fussy. We just want to get this done. So I'm going to do the baked rice with sausage first. Basically, it's mixing all of this together, and then it goes in 2 pans. It's a 9x13 recipe, but because we're doing freezer meals, we're dividing it up into our 2 pans. I'm going to spray the pans before I forget. Everything gets mixed together. I think it's going to take a bigger bowl, otherwise I will make a mess. Let me get a bigger bowl. The 2 pounds of ground sausage, the 1 diced and sauteed green pepper, 1 cup of uncooked rice, 1 can of cream of chicken soup, 4½ cups of water. See, I'm glad I put it in a bigger bowl. I would have been sad. All right, now I need to give myself half of this. That's just my estimate. I'll put half here and half I'll save for our other recipe. Smells so good. Oh, I forgot. Glad you said something. Now the recipe calls for 1.5 of these. Seems kind of silly to waste half. So you could either put 1 in or put 2 in. Otherwise we just waste half of it, and I don't like wasting things, you know that. There's so much flavor in this anyway, with the sausage and the celery and the onion. Cream of chicken soup. This can't really make that much of a difference. I want to be fair, so I'm going to get my ladle and go 1 and 1. Let me be back. We'll foil it and freeze it. This one is sloshy, so you have to be careful when you move it to the freezer. Baked right with sausage, thaw, do not uncover, bake 350 degrees for 40 minutes. Then you mix a 1/4 cup breadcrumbs in 2 tablespoons melted butter and sprinkle that on top, and then bake uncovered for 15 minutes more. All right, now on to our brisket for our bunch. We have our baked sausage and rice all finished, so now let's move over to our brisket for our brunch. So we're going to freeze the sauce that we're going to cook the brisket in, and then at some point in time buy the brisket. And if you put it in a bowl, it helps it stay upright. Going down the list, we have a tablespoon of vinegar, it calls for 3/4 of a cup of beef broth and a 1/4 cup of water. I'm just going to make that all beef broth, so instead of a 1/4 cup of water, I'll add a 1/4 cup of beef broth. No big deal, and since I have it, I might as well use it. A 1/4 cup of sugar. Oh, same thing with the tomato sauce. I'm not going to use it, so I'm just going to pour the whole thing in, even though it asks for half. What am I going to do with half a jar of tomato sauce? So it's going to get the whole thing, and it will still be just fine. This one takes French onion soup mix, and it takes just a little bit of it. Guess what I'm going to do? Yes, you're right. I'm dumping the whole thing in. It'll be fine. It'll taste just fine, and then I don't waste it. And the rest of our onion and celery mix. that's it. So I wrote the directions on it, brisket for a bunch, and it just says brown the beef brisket, place it in a crock pot, and then put the contents of the baggie in and cook it for 7 to 8 hours. Now look at this. Do you see how the sugar has gone to the bottom, and here looks like the tomato sauce? It doesn't matter. You're going to put this whole thing in the freezer, and when you're ready to cook it, you brown your brisket, you put it in the crock pot. You don't even need to thaw this. Just cut it open, break it, and put it in, and it will be wonderful 7 or 8 hours later. Your family will be very happy. Okay, so we have 2 meals, 3 meals, but we need to have something to do now with the celery. So I'm going to show you an appetizer that you can make and enjoy this very evening. So the whole goal is to use up the celery. That's what we're doing these recipes for. And look, I have these celery leaves left, and that's what we're going to use in our little appetizer recipe. So you can see I've cut up some celery leaves here, and I'm going to use them in a recipe in place of green onions. It will give the recipe a different flavor, but it will still be enjoyable. So this is tasty olive dip. So we have 2 cups of cheddar cheese. If you prefer, instead of mayonnaise, you could use Greek yogurt or plain yogurt. 4 cups sunflower seeds. Our celery leaves. And our chopped olives, hence the name Tasty Olive Dip. Isn't it beautiful? I just love the colors in this recipe. Smells so good. And there it is, tasty olive dip. And I would put it in a different bowl, make it look nice. And you can serve it with crackers or raw veggies. I like it with crackers. Do you have any recipes that use celery? Let me know. Maybe we can make them into a freezer meal. After all, I still have quite a bit of celery left over that I still need to use. My name is Tonya. If you want to find out more about making freezer meals for your family to enjoy, just click on the link below. Bye-bye.
Joy Lab. Learning done right.
Learn more with Joy Lab. Like, subscribe, comment, share. Visit us at www.joylab.biz. Thank you.